Food markets only.
Meet Susie Smart, she is so bright. On her blackboard you can write. She has a desk, she has a seat. What's your name, my dolly sweet?
My name is Susie Smart.
She can talk!
She can talk, but can she add?
2 plus 2 is 4. Cat, C-A-T.
You can spell!
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
You recite!
Press the button, she says a dozen things, complete with desk, blackboard, and seat. Susie Smart, sold at food markets only.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Time.
I've been thinking about this, Mr. Hand. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
And it's our time. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's Susie Q96 with Sweepin' the Dirt, the Chit and Chat show, where we're going to talk about some metal detecting. And yeah, I know I still got coin collecting crap up here. But the reason for that is I got a half a roll of pennies sitting here on my desk. I got to get out of the way so I can do this show, and I forgot all about them. So while we wait for some folks to come in and say our hellos, we're going to finish up this half a roll of pennies. So good afternoon to Joe Dirt Treasure and my old friend Package Total. If you look up at the top of your stream, there's some info about the September giftaway, which the drawing's going to be held on October the 3rd on the Lodo Coin Collecting Show, which is on at 6 p.m. on Mondays Eastern Time. There'll also be a special silver Patreon only drawing held that day. And somewhere along in here, if one of my mods is hanging out, or maybe I can do it. I'm a little out of it today. I've been sick the last week, and I've been trying to stay up on my shows so YouTube doesn't strip me bare. That would be an ugly situation for everybody. Yee-wee. So, anyway, yeah, if you want to get in on the silver drawing for the Patreon thing, you can become a channel sponsor for $2.96 a month, which is cheaper even than that Buy Me a Cup of Coffee app. So you'll have a chance every month to win a prize only for the Patreon peoples. And so that's a groovy thing. We got some interesting stuff we're going to talk about today. Our state of the union, so to speak, this week is Indiana. I found an interesting little channel while I was looking for detecting in Indiana stuff, and I'll be bringing you a little bit. It's not a big channel, but they had some good stuff there. And the gentleman recently found something in a river that's pretty interesting. It actually fits 2 categories of today's show. One is the Indiana part. Hi, Silver Slinky. And the other is the what the F is this? I mean, this guy really found something bizarre. I've never seen anything like it before. And obviously, when you see his little video, you're going to know he has not either. So we're going to show that in a couple of minutes. Like I said, I got to finish these pennies and get them off my desk so that I can put detecting objects up here. I just got behind on my time with being not with the program this week. I got some upcoming medical appointments. Maybe they can figure out what's wrong with me, but I had basically throw one of my medications off my list. It's just been making me sicker and sicker, and finally I just said, nope, I'm not taking this crap no more. We're not going to take it. We're just not. I mean, I'm not going to die if I don't take that one. So just sometimes you got to put your foot down, and I did, because this medication has been just making me sicker and sicker, and not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. So
it all goes to show you that it's always something.
Yep, it always is. So we're going to wait a couple minutes for a couple more folks to wander into the planet. There's the clam bake team. Woohoo! And I'm going to go ahead and finish these last few pennies just because I've got to get them off my desk. They're bugging me. There's only about 10 of them left. I opened this roll last night. I was going to go on and do them, and then there were so many people on streaming that I figured nobody would come in, so I just left them sitting here and forgot about them. So these are not detected things. Oh, someone asked me about the photograph that I had posted as the thumbnail for today, and where I found those items. And those items came from a local tot lot at a park up the street. I did pretty well on clad that day. There was quite a few quarters. Liked my little white race car. But yeah, those came from a local tot lot up the street. I have not finished that video yet. But yeah, that's where that stuff was from. There, and this is the last penny, and then we can move on. There we go. All right, much more better. We might as well start out with part 1 of WTF. This item is clearly bent, and it's clearly broken off of something else. Oh, new grandson coming home. Oh boy, I smell spoilage. Or as my dad says, my dad used to say this all the time, babies aren't spoiled, they all smell that way. So I imagine there's going to be a spoiled baby over at the Clam Bake headquarters. All right, let's see if I can get a little better on this. Whoa-wee! Oops, we definitely don't want me on there. That would be really ugly today. All right, let's see if I can get this up here. This is our WTF item of the day. I have no idea what this is. It's folded over here. This part should probably be out this way. But I have no idea what that might be. So if any of you know what this is, like I said, this part is folded over and should be out here. And it looks like there was more to it, but I have no idea what that would have attached to. I dug this out of the same local park that the items in that photograph came from. So if anybody has any idea what that would have been attached to, let me know. All I know is it's a big piece of junk that's going to go in my other bag full of big pieces of junk. I have a couple of those bags here. anyway, that I have no idea what that is. It is just a big hunk of burning junk. So we need to ascertain what that is, because sometimes, now in this case, I'm pretty sure junk be junk, but sometimes you'll get something and it looks like a piece of junk, but then it really isn't a piece of junk. And oh man, this bag is getting heavy. I got this bag down here. I don't even know how much it weighs that I've been putting junk in. I'm trying to find a bag that has an item in it that initially looked like junk that turned out to actually be something. Yeah, here's a good example. This this purple thing, when I saw the edge of it, I thought it was just a bottle cap that I was digging up. But then when I got it out of the ground, whoops, I found out it really wasn't a piece of junk. It was something kind of cool. There's a little purple dude. But like I said, when I first saw the edge of it coming out of the ground, I thought it was just a bottle cap. Turned out it's some kind of little robot dude. I don't know much about him. Let's see what it says on the bottom there. I don't know. I can't read it. It says number 31230, trademark, made in China, something. But yeah, it turned out to be a little dude. I was about ready to just leave it. Yeah, I mean, not really leave it, but fling it in the trash. And then realized it wasn't a bottle cap. And then I got an L bracket. Some of these things are easily identified. And some not so much. A washer, a zipper pull. I'm a purple man. Yeah. This is a bag full of stuff. I found this at a schoolyard in a tot lot. All these lovely things our kids could have in their mouth. Ooh, this one has some coins in it still, which means I have not done the video. I may not have done the video for it. But this is how I do mine when I'm out in the field. They end up in plastic bags. And then I go back and do my closeout, my wrap up. Now this I actually do know what is, but a lot of people don't know what those are. And they are wheel weights. They go on bicycles or cars or whatever when they balance your tires. Oh, here I got a cap for a hose. That's brass. And I think that's it. Except for some dirt and worms. But anyway, some people might not know what this is, but this is a cap for a faucet or a hose. So that's WTF on those. Hi, Sir Benji. So anyway, this is just one of my odds and ends bags. Had some WTFs in it and had some, oh, that's not what I thought it was in there. Didn't have a whole lot of money in this one. I had Do that. Let's see what I did have. Because I think I have done the video for this one already. I'll have to go back and look. There's a crusty penny. 2016 crustable. I'm going to put them back in the bag. This is a shield penny. So put them back in the bag till I make sure I've done the video. And then I think that's a dime. Yep, a real dirty dime. Some money what needs laundered. Can't even tell what it is. Pretty nasty. But a dime is a dime is a dime. And a nickel. 27p nickel. And a little tiny piece of dirt. Yeah, we always got to bring some dirt home with us. So, that was some stuff. That was some WTFs. Hi, Mikey. Oh, did I miss James Eller? Where's James Eller? I didn't see no James Eller. Where's them James Ellers? Boy, I'm going blind. I'm totally going blind. If I've missed anyone, I am so sorry. It is hard. There's James Eller. October 10th is his birthday. All righty. So, anyway, if y'all have some WTFs that you want us to try to identify that you found out in the magnet fishing or metal detecting or dump digging, and you don't know what it is, send us a photo and we'll see if we can't figure it out. And that's going to be the very bad segue into our state of the week, which is Indiana. And I found this really cool little channel. It's from southern Indiana. And it's not got a whole lot of content, but the content that's there is really interesting. So I thought I would do a little sharing with y'all, and I'm adding a little something to the state studies that I haven't really been talking about for, but we're going to go to a channel called Diggin' Indiana. And this is from southern Indiana, where Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky all come together. And that is important because I had someone say, well, I want to go hunting for Civil War relics, but would I find any in Indiana? And the answer to that actually is yes. Okay, so now I have put the link for Digging Indiana in the description of the video of this stream. And I'm going to share a little bit of one of their videos. This is something they found a couple weeks ago, or posted a couple weeks ago, that they found in the river. It does not indicate if this was something they eyeballed or something they metal detected, because it appears to be a rock. So I don't know if it was a hot rock or something they just saw, but this thing is absolutely amazing. And I want to share just a glimpse of it with you, and then you can go over and watch the video. It's not really long, but it's very nice. He also has a good video there on hunting bottles. There's another one on magnet fishing. There's one on how to dig a good plug. There's some good stuff. Let me see if I can get this up here. His once in a lifetime discovery. And I've never seen anything like this before. So, oh dear, I may have. Oh, there it is. All right. I messaged him and let him know that we were going to take a look at this. I hope I can do this. Look at this thing. Does anybody know what this is? I'm going to skip forward a little. Look at this thing. I don't know either, folks, but that is a bizarre piece there. You'll have to go watch the rest of the video, but this dude found this in the river. It's an amazing, amazing piece that was found in southern Indiana by a local detectorist who eyeballed it, apparently. So I just thought that was an amazing piece. I'm not going to spoil it. Y'all need to go over to his channel and take a look at it. The channel link is in the description. And then the next question someone poses to me was, I want to hunt for Civil War relics, but were there any Civil War activity in the area I'm going to be in? Yeah, doesn't it, Mikey? Looks like something that should be used in a ritual. Anyway, people don't normally associate Indiana with a place where there would have been any Civil War activity, but there was. Not a lot, but there was one battle in particular that I'm going to bring some information about to you, which was down where the three states meet at the Ohio River, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. And it was the Battle of Corydon. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the Battle of Corydon in case you are in the southern Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio triad area there and are interested in hunting Civil War relics. There were troops that came across from the Confederacy up into Indiana trying to assert themselves into Yankee territory during the Civil War. And I found this little description from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. And here's the map showing you. Over here is Indiana on your left, and you can see that red line going across the little dots. And this was where Morgan's raid occurred. It came up from Kentucky went over into Indiana, crossed Indiana, through Ohio, and then up along the Ohio-West Virginia border. And what it says about the battle is, in 1863, Confederate Army General Braxton Bragg ordered John Hunt Morgan to invade the North to draw the Union Army north into Kentucky and away from Chattanooga, Tennessee. On July 8, 1863, Morgan and his unit crossed the Ohio River into Indiana. The raid lasted 3 weeks and was extended from Indiana into Ohio. The civilians along the route of the raid were understandably frightened by the invading force. Some of Morgan's men raided, looted, and destroyed property. People along the raiders' route were victims of food shortages, mostly from the demand for food from Morgan's men. Morgan's raid came near the present-day site of 2 Indiana state parks, O'Bannon Woods, just a few miles west of Corydon, and Versailles, just east of the town of Versailles. Corydon was the site of the Battle of Corydon, in which Morgan's raiders fought. This was the only battle of the Civil War fought in Indiana. However, the thing is, just because that was the only battle fought, there was a long path they went across Indiana and Ohio, so any number of relics and items could have been dropped along those areas. So if you're in that area, you might want to study this map. I do not know what the actual regulations are in regarding to their state parks and detecting, but if you could find plat maps of this area and find privately owned property that you could get permissions on, yes, you could well find some Civil War relics in southern Indiana. So then there is some other information on here about state parks. I don't see any specific listing for metal detecting, but there is a need help, have problems, who do I call, what agency number down at the bottom of the page. So that's a little bit of insight there into detecting in Indiana and whether or not you would be able to find anything from the Civil War. Club de Detectorismo Corte. I think it's Portuguese. I could be right. I could be wrong. But hello from Brazil. Hello from Virginia, USA. Welcome to my channel. Happy to have you with us. We were just discussing the Indiana, USA Civil War activity and where people could find war relics in that state, which is not normally known for having any type of Civil War activity, but in actuality, it did have some. So I'm going to try and show those kind of things. I have a very interesting story about Michigan. When I get to Michigan, it's not a Civil War story, it's a World War II story. That I know a place where there's World War II relics that you would not think of in the state of Michigan, but they are there. And I'm going to share it with you. When I get around to the state of Michigan, I'm going in alphabetical order. Next week's channel is going to be Iowa, and I'm going to have to do some good research on that one since most of my family lives there. But anyway, I'm trying not to make this a really long show today because I have some errands to run, and then I'm actually going to try to get out and do a little bit of detecting today. I'm not sure where I'm going to go yet. Probably won't be too far from home because I've not been on my best of health, but I have been cooped up too long. I got to go. I got to go detect, and it's not raining. Actually, I kind of do know where I'm going to go. And this is a suggestion for people. In our area, we don't have a regular weekly flea market. But the next town over has this monumental, huge flea markets where 3 or 4 great big giant lots that used to be farms sell hundreds and hundreds of booths on Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend. Now, I was out of town Labor Day weekend, so I did not participate, and it rained the whole last day of it. So I went by there the other day on my way home from a medical appointment, and they were still pulling the tents down. Now, I have a permission there. If you can get a permission in one of these big lots where they have had repeated flea markets or farmers markets, I almost always find something when I go out there. And since it rained, what I am banking on is that people were trying to tear their stuff down quickly and may have left some goodies on the ground for me. I think they're done tearing down now because they've had a couple more days of sun. The whole week after the market, the 4-day market, it rained every day, so nobody was out there to detect it, and they hadn't even finished tearing it down yet. So now they're done, so I'm going to try and run out there this afternoon for a little bit, see if I can find anything. See if it's dried up enough to find anything. Just get out for a bit. But that is a good spot if you have that. Another place, I'm looking on some plat maps right now to see where old drive-in movie theaters were located in your community. If you can find where those drive-ins were, and that property has not been covered with fill dirt and redeveloped, that would be an ideal spot to be looking for stuff. People were in and out of their cars, going up to the concession, going up to the playground area, the swing sets and stuff underneath where the screen was. Of course, you had the teenagers rolling and tumbling in the cars. They could have dropped some stuff out. I mean, I'm trying to think of ideas that folks may not have thought of to go look. I mean, not too long ago, I drove by what was an old drive-in, and I know it was because I can see the remnants of the screen out there, out in the middle of this field. So the next thing I've got to do is find the street address for that and see if I can contact the owner. It's just an empty field. There's nothing out there except the old movie theater screen. I'm sure somebody's probably detected it before, but those places were huge and there could still be goodies out there. Another place, and I did this down in Georgia. Anybody that knows anything knows you do not metal detect in cemeteries. You just don't do it. However, I found a cemetery when I was down in Georgia that the cemetery was fenced in, and actually it's called a graveyard. And it had been at one time associated with a church. So the property in front of the fenced in area, which is now used for parking for that graveyard, which is still in use, but very rarely. That area is not inside the cemetery, and that is where the old church building once stood. And I know that because I found the square nails and a small portion of what looks like it used to be the steps, rock steps that went up to the front of the building. That area was not off limits. Hi, furry. So if you can look on your plat maps, and somebody asked me, where do I find a plat map? Well, in the town I live in, it's a very small town, and the plat maps are located in our public library. But you can also find some services online that have them. Your county courthouse can direct you to where to find property maps and plat maps. And get on there and find those maps and look for things that are a little bit different. You know, a lot of people look for the old schoolhouses, and I tend to look for old railroad depots and old rural churches that are next to graveyards, because people continue to go back to those places. Even though the churches are gone, they still go back there. Hi, Louie. Thank you very much. Hope everybody brought their lunch and their beverage. Yeah, I'm having to get creative with finding places to go here. I have really not had very good luck with my detecting since I moved to this area. And one of it is that my friend Anthony has hit every place that's any place multiple times over the years. So he's pretty much picked things pretty clean. So I'm trying to come up with different ideas of where I can detect, because I'm tired of pulling out pull tabs. So if any of you have any suggestions for me to look, I have hit pretty much every park, most of the schools, a couple of the big flea market lots. Unfortunately, where our rivers are all where I live anyway, they are all within state parks, and we are not allowed to detect in them, because there's a beautiful state park right up the road from me that it has a river trail in it, but I'm not allowed to detect in it. That's the law in our state is pretty clear on that. And unless you can access these rivers through someone's private property, it's pretty much a no-no, because this state has made pretty much every riverbank a part of a state park, which immediately made them taboo. Hi, Les. How you doing, honey? So glad to see you. Yeah, I'm running out of ideas except for private homes. And, well, let me explain. I live in the mountains, in a town with about 6,000 people. So we don't have a bunch of colleges, or we just don't have a lot of things. I'm trying to get permission to, we don't even have curb strips for the most part. They have the downtown area, there's no curb strips. They have concreted it all. The one college we do have, it's like a technical college, and it does not have any land around it. It's just a great big parking lot. It looks like it used to be some kind of warehouse or something. So there's a lot of farms, but people are not real friendly about allowing you on their farms. I don't know what the deal is. I've been working with some. I am a vendor at our local farmers market, and our local farmers market is paved. It's all pavement. There's no land there. They paved it all and put a little shelter over it, and it's real cute, but nope. Hi, Jimmy. Hey, we have a real problem here with everything has either been paved over, or they have poured boxcar after boxcar of big giant rocks and gravel over it. And man, I hate that stuff. You can't dig in it. Yeah, so I have talked to the vendors. I've got one that is thinking about letting me come out on their farm. And other than that, this is the weirdest place I've ever lived. They are very distrusting. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains in Blue Ridge, and these people are very, very distrusting of anyone who has not been here for 6 generations. I don't. If they say you can come dig, they preface that by saying, well, you can come and dig it, but I get to keep everything. Yep, the southwest corner of Virginia. These are people that in general, you don't want to go door knock, because they will meet you with a shotgun for coming on their land. It is not a friendly place to live. It really isn't. They don't like outsiders. They don't want outsiders. And I'm going to give you an example. The first time I came here, back in, I think it was 2006, I came to pick up a car that was part of my sister's husband's family estate. His mom passed away. No one wanted this car, so I purchased it from the estate for $300. It was a 1976 Mustang 5.0. Got it for $300. So I came from Florida, came up here to get the car. Well, I rode up on the train as far as Charlotte, North Carolina, and then my sister came and got me. And I brought my guitar because I knew I was going to be on there for a long time. So I, had my guitar. Well, while I was on the train, I broke a string. So after I got up here, I asked my sister, I said, hey, is there a music store anywhere in this town? Which I knew there was, because they have a big bluegrass festival and stuff here every year. So I said, could you take me down to the music store? She said, well, I'll drop you off and go pick up some groceries and come back and get you. So I go in the music store. And I was not prepared for the greeting I got in the music store. I come in the music store, and the guy behind the counter looked at me like I had 3 heads. And his eyes got real thin, and squinty, and he looked at me and he goes, "I don't know you. Who do you belong to?" And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know that was criteria for buying a set of guitar strings. But fortunately, I had done some genealogical research for my brother-in-law's mom. So I knew some of their family names, and some of them were pretty well known in the area. So I said, well, my brother-in-law is a so-and-so, and his mama was a so-and-so, and dropped some names that I knew were well known and well established in the area. And all of a sudden, the guy drops the squinty expression on his face, and he's like, "Yes, ma'am, what can I do for you?" But there, for a brief moment, I was hearing the theme song from Deliverance playing in the back of my head, the way this guy was looking at me. And that was just to buy guitar strings. So that will give you a clue as to the kind of community this is. It is, boy, you better know somebody that knows somebody, or you're not getting jack. Ironically, there's a community about 15, 20 miles from here where the former fire chief is a guy that was in my high school graduating class down in Florida. So I do have that one little safe haven over in that town. And that's where I usually end up going to detect, because these people are frightening. They are not friendly. I asked a guy one time if I could come and detect on their property, and he blasted me on public media. How dare I want to come and invade his privacy with some piece of electronics that was probably planting microchips in his yard so that I could spy on them. I mean, this is the mentality. I have never seen anything like it in my entire metal detecting history, or in my life in general. There are some areas that just, whew, yeah. So, in the whole time I have lived here, which has been a little over 2 years now, I have actually only gotten 3 permissions. And 2 of those were people that were related to me. Yeah, so I have been sorely limited to public parks, schoolyards. It's not good. And it's one of the things I'm going to be really happy when I do finally get back to Michigan. And there are actually places there that I could go detect. Well, I am not that far from North Carolina, but the county right across the line from me has a whole lot of not allowed to detect ordinances. Their county properties you can't detect. Most of their city properties you cannot detect. And I don't really know people that live there to try to get private permissions from. I did go to one park, 2 counties over in North Carolina, and there I was accosted by a pervert who wanted to show me what was in his pants. So, which apparently was not his brain. So, and because of my health issues and my car, I don't really go too far away. My car's got 245,000 miles on it. So I'm researching possibilities of places that are less than 100 miles away from me in North Carolina. Other than that, it's about 100 miles to Tennessee, going straight west. I would end up in Bristol, which I kind of wish I could go to Bristol this weekend. One of my friends is racing over there. But the other option would be to head north a couple of hours into West Virginia. I'm just far enough away from the other states for it to not be practical on a regular basis. I mean, like the one I did in North Carolina, I did that Labor Day weekend because I had another activity I was doing in North Carolina. Some friends of mine who have a rock band were playing in North Carolina and put me on their guest list. And so I had gone there, and the next morning on the way back, I had gone to a park. And yeah, we talked about this on last week's show about things to be aware of, and one of them is that just because a guy is a little old man and he gets out of his truck does not mean that he has nothing but good intent. Reminded me of the old song by Jethro Tull called Aqualung, where they talk about sitting on the park bench eyeing little girls with bad intent. I think the difference in some places, Furry has a good question. She says she wonders what the difference between metal detecting and the scuba teams diving underwater doing detecting would be. Now, in some places, and this is, I know this about Florida, there are some places you can't take anything out of the water, and there are other places where you're only allowed to dive in the water. And part of that, I think, has to do with people in the past having left giant holes. Back when detecting first started, when my dad had his detector back in the 60s, late 60s, I hate to say it, but the people with the detectors just went out there and they dug these craters because they did not have pinpointers or anything like that. They would get a signal and they'd dig like a freaking pothole, and then they wouldn't fill them up. And so a lot of places made ordinances saying you can't detect. And a lot of it was because these big holes were left, and those ordinances are still in place because people do not realize that that's not how it's done anymore. That we have our own code of conduct. We also have equipment that is highly specialized so that we do not need to dig a pothole. We can dig a hole as small as maybe 3 inches around and find our target. Truthfully, I think part of why the people can go underwater when they can't go on the top is because nobody sees them. I don't think they look at that with the same set of eyes, because the bottom of the thing is already full of holes. That's just one theory. I used to watch Adventures with Purpose a lot more than they do now. When Jared and all of them were just cleaning up the rivers up in Oregon and all of that. And they kind of lost me, first off, when they got rid of Sam and brought this new guy in. I don't like him. I'm sorry. I think he has changed the aspect of the show, which was one of the things they promised, was that they were not going to get involved in anything that looked like it might have a criminal element side to it. And now they're doing these things where people were supposedly murdered and people were supposedly kidnapped. And I don't like it. I mean, I understand those cases need to be solved, but when they promised their wives they weren't going to do that, and now they're doing it, they have kind of lost me. You know, I was watching one of them. I still watch them, but not as much. And I think it's wonderful that they're helping solve these mysteries. But I think they did it for the wrong reason. I think they've gone where they said they weren't going to go, which was into the criminal aspects of it. And I don't know that I don't know that I trust them anymore. And I have corresponded with them about some cases here local to me that are legitimately the kind of cases they started out looking for, where people disappeared with their vehicles and never have been seen since. And there's a lot of other teams like them now too. But I almost feel like they sold out. You know, that's just my personal opinion. I don't like that. I don't like that they're putting themselves in danger that way by getting involved in some of these cases that are more criminal in nature. Like the one they've got out there right now they're working on, they think this girl was kidnapped. And the other thing I did not like, when they went out recently and went to find the missing girl, and they announced that they found her before the police department had even really been officially notified. And I thought that was done backwards. That created some problems for them. I saw a newscast where it painted them in a very unflattering light. And I don't like to see that, because I've been watching Adventures with Purpose, like I said, since they first started pulling trash and stuff. Yes, the girl they just found that was in the back hatch. Exactly. But yeah, I started watching them a long time ago. I was watching when they had the live stream where they found the very first car that had a body in it. And I thought they were going to lose their minds. And now they have parlayed it into $1 million thing. And while I think that's good, I also don't think that's good, because I think they're losing touch with their original goal. But that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have one. But and I wish they would do more with metal detecting, because I think that could be valuable to them, especially around some of those cars that they find that the cars are disintegrating. That maybe they could find some salvageable pieces to figure out what that car was and how long it's been there. But that's just because I'm a metal detectorist and I want to see them do that. But anyway, I think I've rambled on for about enough. Yeah, you've got a point there. God's changed my plans a number of times. Anyway, I want to remind everybody that up at the top of the stream, I have posted the information about the September giveaways. There will be 2. They will be held on Monday, October the 3rd on the Lodo Coin Collecting Show. One of them is for the general population of the channel, and the other is a special Patreon only drawing. you can become a Patreon and sponsor this channel for $2.96 a month. I mean, that's like less than a cup of coffee. I see this app now that's got the donation thing, buy me a cup of coffee. That's like $5. You can get in this drawing. Every month I have a Patreon drawing. And my $2.96 a month Patreon sponsors are the only ones that can win it. And this month it's going to be some silver. So you can become a Patreon sponsor real cheap. It's my Poorer Than Dirt sponsorship for $2.96. And there's only a handful of people in that drawing, so you got a real good chance of winning in there. And it helps me mail out all of these items and pay for the incidental expenses of the channel. And so I'm going to go because I have got to go take care of some stuff so that maybe, just maybe, I can go metal detecting today for the first time since Labor Day weekend. So I hope y'all enjoyed the information that we presented. Please run over and check out Digging Indiana and see what that thing is he found. It's pretty wild. And next week we'll be looking at Iowa. And I got some real interesting stories about Iowa and things you can find over there. Because you got the mighty Mississippi River running all the way down one side of it. So there's some pretty amazing stuff in Iowa. And I was born there, so it's got to be an amazing place. So with that being said, y'all, thank you for stopping in, having lunch with me. Please hit the like, subscribe, share stuff. Help me try to get there. I am at, where am I at? I don't even know where I'm at anymore. I think I have 140 people I need to subby. Yeah, I am at 161. So I need 139 people and a crap load of view time. So if y'all could like queue up one of my playlists and just let her run, and what, have that something you watching while you're doing your dishes or something. Get me some time here, then I won't have to beg for money so much. I'll maybe get $10-20 a month from UB2B to pay for some of this. And we shall see ya later on. I appreciate you. And M3 appreciates you. Bye, everybody.